What's up? I'm Hunter. Welcome to my Barrows guide. We got a lot of information to cover, so I'm just going to get right into it. First, if you're using RuneLite, make sure to grab these plugins. They're really helpful. They make it 100 times easier to see. For hard requirements, all you really need to do is do Priest in Peril. Not that difficult. There's a lot of other things you can do to make it faster. The enhancers, your recommended levels, soft requirements. If you talk to the strange old man, he'll give you a quest that gives you an XP lamp for prayer, as well as giving you a map that lets you see the mini-map while you're inside the dungeon. Teleports to Barrows can be a little difficult for an early account. Down here we have the grouping teleport for Shades of Morton that requires the Shades of Morton quest. That's probably your best bet. These fairy rings are all kind of useful, but you're probably just going to want to use the Shades of Morton teleport. There's also Mauritania Legs 3, which are great, but if you're watching this guide, you probably haven't done your hard diaries. And then there's the Barrows tablets, which are 2k a piece right now. They're pretty expensive, but if you have money, you might as well spend it. Next up, we have the Easy Barrows brothers. There's Torag, Guthan, and Verac. These three are all the Easy brothers, so all you have to do is pray melee and attack with mage, and you're all set. They have some random effects they can do, but honestly, these are not the ones you're going to be thinking about. You're just going to be praying melee and melting them. So, moving on, we have the harder brothers, and those are the ones that, actually require you use your brain. The first and only really troublesome member of the Barrows brothers is Dharok. Make sure you have full prayer when you fight him. Make sure you're praying melee, because once he gets to low health, he can hit up to a 57. Ahrim, all you gotta do is pray mage and attack with a ranged weapon. Toxic blowpipe will absolutely melt him. He can drain some of your combat stats, but nothing really useful at all. Karil is kind of a similar story, where all you need to do is pray ranged and attack with mage or melee specs or whatever you got. He can drain your agility, and it's not really huge unless you have low agility. Barrows potential functions basically based on the combat levels of everything you kill. You want to get up to 880 points and bang boom. That's kind of the ideal range that everyone seems to talk about. The ideal range seems to be between 73 and 88%, and this is just so you can maximize the amount of death and blood runes you get in all of your chests, because as you will see, margins for Barrows chests can be pretty slim, so you don't want to go spending a whole lot of money in the crypts, essentially. When you're in the Barrows, there's a mechanic where every 20 seconds you will lose prayer based on how many brothers you've killed, which is not so bad at the beginning when you haven't killed any, but when you're down in the lower crypt fighting the last Barrows brother, they're taking away a huge chunk of your prayer. And if Dharok is your crypt buddy, as you'll see, it can be probably the most intense Barrows gets. I'm going to do a run in the wiki recommended minimum gear, which is okay. It's pretty cheap. I think it's under 350k. Here's the minimum gear recreation I did. Ibin Staff, which is my mage weapon here, requires Underground Pass, which is probably the most frustrating thing you can ever do as a early game RuneScape account. It really is just painful. Everything else, though, is relatively acquirable. You think you have to do Dragon Slayer 1 for the rune plate body, but that's kind of... Dragon Slayer 1 was peak storytelling. Like that it still hits. It still hits that primal childhood nostalgia that just yeah. So anyway, I'm going to speed it up because the wiki recommended minimum gear is a slow burn through these crypts, so I'm going to just do us both a favor. sad. This isn't bad. This is almost good.